Living Well. I am Daphne Monroe, your host, and joining me today is Greg Peterson, who is with UrbanFarms still, right?
Absolutely, forever and always.
Well, you've been gardening in this valley for like over 45 years, but you have since then moved to North Carolina, and that's why we have to do this remote recording on this podcast.
Right.
Right. Welcome. So listen, one of the why I sought you is because you're the guy that got me into gardening like 20 years ago. And you made gardening very simple for me because when I thought about gardening, I'm thinking phosphate, soil health. And you looked at me, and you probably don't even remember this, but we were just getting ready to shoot a segment. And you said to me, go, Daphne, gardening's so easy. All you have to do is have good soil, just throw some seeds in and water it. And that was it. And that gave me permission to become a gardener because you made that simple. So I love that. So that the temperatures here in hot Arizona, the lows have finally dropped below 80 degrees. What a painful summer.
Oh, I hear you.
So I know
I'm
I'm
sorry.
starting to plant some stuff here. So why don't you tell us, for those of us that live in the valley, what are some things that we should be planting now?
Well, first of all, I want you to go and download my planting calendar. It's free. That'll tell you what to plant all year round. And the hardy fall cold crops is what go in now. So garlic, carrots, brassicas. Brassicas are cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Those kinds of things this is a great time to get them planted. And then give it another 30 to 45 days. And that's when the lettuces and snow peas and those kinds of things go in.
Now, is this like, can you do seeds before, like where you start taking those seeds and start making them grow inside your house while we're waiting for the temps to come down?
You absolutely can. You can buy seed trays to be able to do that. If you're going to do that, you want to get a really good quality plant seed starter mix. And you can just buy a small bag of that and get going and plant the seeds. Make sure that they don't dry out. You need to make sure that the soil stays damp on top. And that goes for your garden as well. If you're planting in your garden and the seeds dry out, it very likely would kill them.
Right.
So one of my tricks on this one is get an old bed sheet. Plant your garden out, put the bed sheet on top and water the bed sheet every day. And after 2 or 3 weeks, what'll start happening is the seeds will start pushing the bed sheet up a little bit. And then that's when you take it off. And that accomplishes two things. It keeps the soil moist and it keeps the birds away from the seeds.
That's a great idea. I literally, before I talked to you this morning, I just started a new garden bed because the garden that I have at my new house, I've seen snakes and it's uncomfortable.
Oh, you and Heidi.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to, they really make me jump. So I moved my garden and I just planted some seeds in them today. Yep. In addition to the fact that I'm also seeding inside, which for the sake of beauty, I moved them. I actually have them here because it's very well lit in my office. But I usually put like a dome cover. So with the seeds, when I do inside, I get some of that, planting seed soil that you said costs really cheap. Maybe a bag is like $10. And then you have those little trays. You put your little seeds in it. Make sure I have a spray bottle to dampen the top part of it. And I put a little dome over it to keep it locked in. And then once you see that little sprout come up, that's when you need to take those domes off. And it's the same concept if you do it outside. You want to protect the seeds from the heat and, from anything. So that was a great explanation there. So those are all the things that we need to be growing. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about, we've had some really tough summers. I mean, it's been across the world. So we've had 2 summers in a row that are the hottest summers. Our environment's changing. You can call global warming, call whatever you want to, but the fact is our environment has changed. And everything is more extreme. Those few temperatures, 5 degrees, keeps those lows above 92. So our lows here for the summer, past 2 summers, can't get below 90 degrees for 2 months. So
Right.
I'm finding that I can't grow anything here in the summer.
Yeah. So Bob McClendon with McClendon's Farms came out about a decade ago and said, I just don't grow in the summer. And I took that to heart. And when I was growing in Phoenix, I just let my garden beds kind of go fallow during the summer. Now, there is something that we give away at the fruit tree program called a cow pea.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bean, a really nice bean. We give them away free with our fruit trees when people get them. And it loves the heat. It absolutely loves the heat, and it's a nitrogen fixer. So what that means is that it's pulling nitrogen out of the soil and out of the air and embodying it in the plant. And it does really well over the summer. And I really encourage you to plant some kind of ground cover like cowpeas,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll keep the soil cooler in the summertime. It'll keep the microorganisms alive in the soil. And then what you do, if you're planting now, you just pull them up or cut them off at ground level, and that they make a great mulch.
Okay.
And they've maintained the health of your soil over the summer. So they call that a green cover crop.
Okay. I've never heard of that before. That's fantastic because, I mean, literally my soil is so dry.
Yeah.
In the summer, it's like everything gets fried. So this is
Yep.
a great thing. So cowpeas. So you had mentioned your fruit tree program.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about gardening here. What are the things we're supposed to be gardening? And thank you for touching base with me about summer and what we can do. But yeah, I think I agree with you. No more growing. But I want to talk about your fruit tree program because I have actually, in every house I owned, I've actually bought a fruit tree from you guys, and they've grown. They've grown fabulously.
Yeah. So I have actually been growing fruit trees in the low desert since 1975. I've been educating people on how to grow fruit trees for over 25 years. And there's a special mix of how you have to get them in the ground. And I actually, one of the YouTube videos on my channel is of me planting a fruit tree in your backyard. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but I came over and planted one and we videotaped it.
Yeah.
And so when you're planting fruit trees, we have to prep the soil under where the tree is going to be. If you just dig a hole and stick that tree in the dirt, good luck.
Right.
It's likely not going to make it. So what we have to do is we have to build healthy soil underneath the tree. And there's 5 components of healthy soil: dirt, airspace, water, organic matter, and everything that's alive in the soil.
Okay.
And the good news is the way to fix desert dirt is to add organic matter and add lots and lots and lots of organic matter. This is for your gardens as well as for your fruit trees. So when you go to
Sorry. Can you define organic matter for somebody who's new to gardening? What does that mean?
Absolutely. So in our fruit tree program, we call it Farmer Greg's Planting Mix. It is a mix of composted pine bark, cocoa peat, compost, and a couple other smaller things that make a fluffy, healthy soil. And you can get it in raised bed planting mix. If you're buying it by the bag, or actually anytime you're buying soil, if you can get OMRI, OMRI certified soil, that's going to be an organic soil. That's going to be better for you. There'll be less chemicals in it that way. And so healthy soil is that mixture of compost and cocoa peat and things that fluff up the soil. Rice hulls are often used.
So it also makes the water move too when your soil is fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watering the roots, it's less likely to get like moldy or catch disease because everything can breathe.
Exactly. Now, 5 components of healthy soil. Dirt is one of them, but if all you have is dirt, you're not going to have much luck growing things. You've got to add organic matter. And then what happens is when you add that organic matter, the airspace becomes available, the water can get in, and life happens. Microorganisms. If you have mushrooms growing in your yard, great. That's really good.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
It has mushrooms in it.
It does?
Yes.
Then you're doing great. That's soil life. That's the stuff we're after.
Okay.
So in moving from Phoenix, where I lived for 54 years, to North Carolina, we bought a small farm. We have 4 acres here. We're only farming a very small portion of our backyard right now. And I've been doing raised beds. And the reason I've been doing raised beds is because I wanted to jumpstart my garden as quickly as possible. And I spend $30 on the wood to make the raised bed. And I spend, and this is where I say you get what you pay for. I spend $300 for the soil that goes in that bed. You only have to do it once, but then you have awesome, great soil for that bed for decades into the future. And then each year we just add a layer of compost. We're making worm compost here, and I just add it to the top and let the worms flourish, and the soil microorganisms flourish, and you're growing great, healthy food that way.
Right, exactly. So let me ask you another question, Greg. What would be an indication of healthy soil, like just by putting your hands in it? I know you said the 5 components, but when you feel it with your hands, what are you feeling for?
Well, when you grab a piece of dirt, it's usually hard and crunchy. If it's sandy, then it'll be more like beachy. If it's a lot of clay, then it's hard and you have to break it up. But healthy soil, if you grab a handful of it, it looks dark.
Yeah.
It'll be browns and blacks, and there might be a few white specks in it. And you might see some life in the soil, some bugs crawling around, some worms.
And that's what you want.
And that's what we want, exactly.
That's not a bad thing. So if you see those worms and you see mushrooms, that's healthy soil.
Exactly. Well, and ants too. I get this a lot. People email me or ping me on Facebook and say, I got ants. How do I kill them? It's like, well, hold on. Why do you want to kill them? Number one, well, they're biting. All right. Well, if they're biting ants and they're in your way, you have to manage for them. But other than that, they're pollinators. They're aerating the soil. They're helping you build a good, strong ecosystem for you to grow food in. And when you have that healthy soil, you have great, healthy plants that are making food that's healthier for you, and it tastes better.
Yeah, that's true.
You know that.
I know that 100%. I teach a grocery guru class for the city of Phoenix through the public library system, which I love. Yeah, it's perfect. It totally fits my brand, and I enjoy it. But the great thing about it is that I also integrate, because people are like, what do I buy organic versus non-organic? And I explained to them, I said, you can get away with buying non-organic if it's protected, right, by the shell, and make sure that the shell can't penetrate those pesticides through.
Yep.
But the way you can guarantee, because you're trusting an organization to tell you that they're really doing what they say they're going to do. But how you can ensure that you really are, garden. And the library has a seed program too, where every 3 weeks you can get free seeds. Plus they have this amazing garden book that has all the farmers market in the valley, like the free gardening calendar. They have a gardening calendar too. And it's a free, huge, 30-page pamphlet about everything and anything you want to know about gardening. And it's totally
wow.
So this is a new resource. It probably wasn't. I know a seed program was here, but not this guide. Of course, I left it in the other room, so I can't show you.
That's okay. I'm going to convince you to send me one. I would love to see it.
So besides seeds, now, are you still doing a seed program also?
We do. In fact, it's coming up the 10th and 11th of October.
Okay.
So just in a couple weeks. It's called the Great American Seed Up. And what we do is we pack over 100 varieties of open pollinated seeds in the fellowship hall at North Phoenix Baptist Church, and people can come in and scoop up however many seeds they want, and they scoop. The scoops are inexpensive. A typical scoop is between $1.25 and $2, and it's about 10 times what you would get in a normal packet of seeds,
which would cost you $4.
Which would cost you $4 exactly.
Right. So. Oh, I'm so going to be there. I didn't know that you're still doing it in the valley. Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yourself?
I am coming into town for it.
I'll really get to see good. I'm for sure going to be there. So
all right, cool.
Expect to get a hug, my friend. So good.
Awesome.
And all those things that you're mentioning, I will also put on my blog, because I do have a blog, smartshopperdaphne.com. So people, if they listen to this podcast and want to get a hold of you or ask you questions, they can do that.
Absolutely.
So that's the Great American Seed Program. Now, I had you mention the fruit tree program. You talked about planting fruit trees, but you didn't tell me about what this program is, your fruit tree.
All right. The program is 25 years old this year. Would you believe that? Right. It's blowing me away. And it's based, along with everything that I do, Daphne, it's based in education. I have a fruit tree master course that we put together. It's got over 70 lessons in it, short lessons and long lessons on how to grow fruit trees in the desert. And then you can purchase fruit trees from us. Right now, we're in our citrus season, so people can pre-order citrus trees and then come and pick them up at the nursery. And usually the last weekend of September at our pop-up nursery. Mm-hmm. And they can pre-order deciduous trees. Those are trees that are, they go dormant in the winter time, so they lose their leaves. So as your apples, peaches, apricots, plums, mulberries, those kinds of things. They can pre-order those now and pick them up at our pop-up nursery the second half of January. And I come into Phoenix for that as well. And all along the way, we give away free education. Last week was our planting, watering, and fertilizing class. So anybody that wants a link for that, it's on my YouTube channel. They can go watch it. And all of our information about our fruit tree program is at fruittrees.org.
Okay.
And we give weekly classes this time of year. And I'm available at greg@urbanfarm.org for people to email me with fruit tree questions. That's kind of what I do.
That's fantastic. Well, you and I have somehow figured out how to make a living out of our passions. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Good job. And
took me long enough.
Have kids.
Right. Exactly.
So, Greg, I appreciate all of your time. Of course, some great advice. One more other thing I was going to ask you. Compost.
Yes.
I was telling you, I always get my compost at AZ Worm Farm. Yep. I will say their prices have gone up.
Yeah.
Any other place, but their compost is probably one of the best in town. Would you agree?
It is. And again, you get what you pay for. There's a really great organization down in Tucson called Tanks Green Stuff, TANKS, Tanks Green Stuff. And they sell a bagged compost. We usually carry it in our pop-up nursery in January.
Okay.
So you can get it from us in bulk then. I also know that local nurseries like Summer Winds carries it. So you might check with them.
Okay.
So Tank's Green Stuff has a compost as well.
So one of the things I've been doing, talking about compost as we get to wrap this up, is I have tried out the mill. Have you heard of these new they look like little trash cans in your kitchen? And then
Did you buy one?
Well, I didn't buy one. They had a free trial with Recycle City. So Recycle City has merged with the mill. I'm trying to get the owner of Recycle City on my podcast, but they basically have this free 30-day trial. Well, you'll get this $1,000 mill delivered to your house for free at no expense. Use it for 30 days. They drop off a bucket. They want to pick up what the mill creates, some of that pre-compost stuff. And it costs, if I want to continue, it's going to be $40 a month, but that will include them picking up the compost or the stuff
that's left over. Yeah.
Right. It's almost compost, not quite yet, because it has a lot of meat in it and it's not quite as moist. And then they'll also deliver compost to you once a month. I think that's a fantastic deal because for me, I don't mind composting. The problem with it is that I live on top of a mountain and we have like bobcats and raccoons. I mean, I even have to have a cage on my koi garden because we have so much wildlife. So it is not an option. I'm just going to attract more. So this is a great thing. And I'm going to do a little social media plug on the mill. I love it. Do you like these little things?
I just found out about the mill recently. I love that they're not claiming that it's compost that's coming out of it. It's basically my understanding, the way that it works is that it grinds up and dehydrates your food waste.
Exactly.
And that sounds to me amazing. I actually am pondering getting one.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll send a video. I will upload a video and I'll show it to you. But I will say I'm thoroughly impressed with it. I'm thoroughly impressed. So
Wow.
It's a great way. So if you're somebody that doesn't like the bugs and you don't like the smell, boom. And my trash has gone down 80% because of it.
Yep, it will.
And nothing smells in my house. So I love it.
And the other thing is my compost bin that sits on the countertop has little gnats in it this time of year.
Yep.
And we're dealing with gnats, and yeah, so
it is. I would definitely give it a try. I hope they do a free trial in North Carolina, and you're more than welcome to stop over and check it out when you're in town. Anyways, awesome. I'm going to wrap this up. I got to do my tag real quick. Folks, don't forget, I'll have all the information on my blog at smartshopperdaphne.com. And don't forget, I'm Daphne Monroe, your smart shopper.